And what is going on, Team Elite? I am Jeremy Funderburg, one of the co-founders and the CEO of the Elite Minds Marketing Agency, here to bring you guys another episode of Elite Perspectives. And today is going to be so cool. I got my friend and now partner, Terri Watkins, and she is going to blow your mind. And I say partner not because she's with Elite Minds, but for the first time in whole Elite Perspectives history, I have another marketer here. And it just makes sense to partner up and do work together. And I couldn't partner with anyone better than Terri. Let me tell you guys about her. She is an absolute kick butt rock star. If you don't have a pen and paper, make sure you grab one right now. You are going to want to take some notes. I mean, I got one right here. I'm taking notes myself because this episode is going to be cool. You guys know I do digital marketing. Well, Terri, she handles marketing all over, traditional mediums and on digital, and she is rocking it. She's working with a ton of businesses. She has 35 businesses that she's worked with that she's helped grow from anywhere between 10% to 1,200%. And she is the chief idea catcher for Spin Frogs, and they couldn't have anyone better to operate the way Terri does because it's just super cool. She's not just this, the gurus in marketing. I'm actually going to read this for you guys so you can hear it. It says, Terri was recognized nationally in 2013 in the Business Insider for her article on controlling your brand. What better thing is there to control than your brand? And she was recognized for her article about that. But wait, there's more. It continues to say, in 2018, she was listed on UpCity as a trusted marketing advisor. And I got to say, I trust her as a marketing advisor. I can't help but to trust her with you guys. So today, I have my friend, Terri Watkins. Terri, how are you doing today?
Oh my God, Jeremy, that's probably the best intro I've ever had. I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me here.
Awesome. Well, it's easy to do intros like that when I got somebody like you to talk to and to talk about. And I think we're going to have some fun.
Yes, sir. I think so. And I appreciate that. Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to be here amongst your listeners and viewers. So thank you so much for having me on the show today.
The pleasure's all mine. And I can't wait to just unleash you onto our audience. So I just want to start by, just tell us some of your background. Like, what was your upbringing like? How did you get onto this journey? Let us hear the story.
Yeah, so it was on accident, if you can believe that. When I was a little girl, I had a dream that I was going to be somebody who helped people. And I didn't know what that meant at the time, but when I was a kid growing up, what that traditionally meant was you were either a doctor or a lawyer. Well, I found out pretty quickly that blood makes me squeamish. Probably not a good doctor, I'm thinking. You probably want a doctor who can handle the blood. So I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. And then I shadowed my dad's attorney around for about a week. And I was drawn to the courtroom. I loved being in the courtroom. But what I didn't love was sitting behind a desk dealing with all the paperwork. So I decided that wasn't really for me either. And so I kind of just went about my life not really knowing what I was going to do, but knowing that I was put here to help people. And before I knew it, I was graduating college with a psychology degree and a business administration and marketing degree, and was like, I wonder what would happen if I started working with business owners to help them with their marketing. So I started to trace back the marketing experience that I had had and discovered that basically every job I had worked was gearing me up to help businesses with their marketing. From the time that I was in my very first job helping to stock shelves and position produce, and pick produce to make sure that it was the best looking, the ripest, and the greatest quality, all the way to when I was graduating college. The job that I was in at that time was a branch office administrator, marketing coordinator for a local Edward Jones branch. So financial advising. And I stopped for a minute and was like, I've kind of always done something with marketing of some kind. And now I've studied it in school. Well, now it seems like I really kind of should do this on purpose instead of on accident, because it seemed like I had been doing it accidentally all of that time. And so that's when I started back in 2009, started intentionally doing work in the world of marketing. And I started by working with a small business, a medical office, as their marketing director. Fresh out of school, the doctor came to me and said, here's our budget. Here's what we've done that we like. Here's what we've done that we didn't like. Here's why we didn't like it. Change my mind. And I was like, oh, okay, challenge accepted. So I took the budget and I started making changes to what we were doing. And I started learning more about digital marketing and search engine optimization and paid advertising, and really was enjoying that space. And before I knew it, 2011 rolled around, and the collapse from the economy that happened in 2009 finally took hold of the business that I was serving. And we had done so well to resist the pain of that collapse in our economy that it took that many years for us to actually feel that collapse and cause a shift within that business that made everybody's hours get cut in half. And so I walked out of the job going, okay, my hours just got cut in half. What do I do? What do I do now? And my husband had just been laid off of his job doing copywriting for a tax resolution company. And he was doing copywriting for them, and he got laid off, and he was sitting around at home not really sure what to do, but he knew he wanted to write. So I decided I was going to see how many people I could meet in 30 days and see if I could find work for him to do. I love putting people to work. So I got busy, and I hit one networking event, which brought me to 4 more networking events, which brought me to 10 more networking events. And before I knew it, I had been invited to a networking event every hour of every day, Sunday through Monday. And I did it in a month. If I had a penny for every person I met, I'd be a millionaire. I kind of wish I had asked to borrow $1 from everybody just to see where I'd be. But it developed my ability to speak to people and to connect with people and to develop relationships. And we ran together doing that for about 2 years, where he was doing the website design and copywriting for the websites, and I was the salesperson. I was out generating the leads for us in our small little business. I had developed such a good relationship with the business owners in the community that one of the agencies in the marketplace offered to buy my book of business and my husband and myself up into their team. We accepted the offer and we went to work for them in 2013. And by 2016, by 2016, it wasn't a good relationship anymore. And it was time for us to move on. So Brian went back out into the freelance space. That's my husband. And I went to go work for a big agency doing trade shows internationally. And I learned a lot about the trade show market space, what's involved with logistics, coordination, planning, organizing, preparing. And what you don't realize when you're just a business owner who's thinking about doing a trade show is the amount of time, effort, and energy that goes into making sure that that display is right, and to make sure that it shows up where it's supposed to show up when it's supposed to show up. Because it's showing up late is a problem. That's a big deal. That's not good. And it's showing up too early can be very expensive. So making sure you have your timetables right is so important in that world. And so I learned a lot there, but decided that I was spending more time behind a desk and dealing with paperwork than I wanted to. And if I was going to spend that amount of time dealing with paperwork, I was going to be an attorney because they make a lot more money. So I left corporate America and I started my own thing again. And that's when Spin Frogs came around, is June 1st of 2017. So I just turned 3 years old. And as Spin Frogs, what I did in my market research was I was really noticing there's a gap in service. We have a lot of agencies that do traditional marketing. We have a lot of agencies that do digital marketing, but we don't really have anybody who's specifically serving the small business owner. And I'm talking micro business owner, solopreneur, somebody who has less than 20 people on their staff. They're probably making less than $5 million a year. Those guys really are the ones that need support in order to grow, to get to that $5 million revenue. They're the ones that want to have the team. They want to be able to support the community, and they're just struggling. They're on the struggle bus because they love what they do, but they don't have any idea how to run a business or how to market their business. And I saw that need and said, I think I can help them. I think I have a unique set of skills that has given me that insight to know that about them and to know how to fix that for them and with them. And so that's where Spin Frogs came from, helping them catch the ideas that stick.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I love the lead up to it. And I think it's funny. I should probably talk to more marketers, because I wonder if it's just us or if it's other marketers that we start off marketing like unintentionally, and they're like, oh, I'm good at this. And then we just find our way into doing this for a living.
I find that's a common thing amongst marketers and graphic designers. They really are good at something. They find excitement and enjoyment out of it. And before they know it, they kind of look back and they're like, oh, I kind of accidentally just keep doing the same thing. So why don't I do it on purpose?
Right? It's like, oh, I kind of did this for this, and I did this for this, and I could be getting paid.
I could be getting paid for that. Yeah. Yeah, I could be getting paid, and I could like maybe do it like on purpose so that way I can have a bigger impact and do more of it because I really enjoy it. Yeah. And for me, I just found I got bored. I got so bored doing the other jobs that pretty much every other job I've ever had, within about 2 years, I'm like looking for, my skin is crawling and I can't do it anymore because I'm looking for something else to do. I'm bored. Whereas with marketing, I never get bored. It's just fun all the time. It's always different.
Always.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you're right. Marketing is always changing, and especially once you hit the digital space, then you're like, all right, there's algorithms, and somebody's going to do something stupid, and the algorithm's not going to like it, and it's going to change it for everybody.
Exactly. Oh, and the algorithms are changing almost hourly now because they're so fast. And that artificial intelligence is so intelligent. It's almost too intelligent. My husband was on, I want to say it was Amazon Music yesterday. And he was searching for the artist's name and the name of the song. And the artificial intelligence there is so smart, it's stupid. And what I mean by that is he had the artist's name and the name of the song, and instead of coming up with the name of the song, it was playing the best of that artist instead of the best song, which is actually the name of the song by that artist. So it's artificial intelligence is super smart to the point that it's stupid sometimes.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. It's a fun thing to watch and play with. Even like with the GPS nowadays, my GPS, it messes up every once in a while where it hits a sign that says like drive, like DR, and the GPS says doctor. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that street's not a doctor, it's a drive.
But yourself, you want to like reach out and pat it on the head and be like, that's so cute though.
But
yeah.
tell me about the name Spin Frogs. Where did that come from?
Oh, yeah, I get asked this one a lot, and it's a lot of fun. So I was sitting there in a meditation, and I spent a weekend in meditation because I really was lost. I really was at a point where I didn't think I wanted to do marketing anymore. I was burnt out. I was frustrated. I was disappointed with things that were going on. And so I kicked my husband out of the house for a weekend, and I sat in my hammock. No music, no TV, no phone calls, and just silence. And I spent a full 48 hours just searching and asking, what do I do? What do I do now? What do I know how to do? What do I feel comfortable doing? What do I enjoy doing? Can I do something with all of that information? What can I do with that? And so the path of marketing opened itself back up again to me and said, this is where I need to go. And I said, okay, great. So now what? What do I call it? And I started thinking about business owners. And a lot of business owners in the traditional sense are used to setting up shop, much like a frog finds a lily pad and just kind of sits on it. A business owner who sets up their shop is setting up their website, or they're setting up their social media page, or they're setting up their brick and mortar business. And they're waiting for the clients in the flies to fly by, right? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, they're sitting there and they have all these ideas circling around their head. Just like a frog sitting on a lily pad has all these flies buzzing around their head. Now, a frog's not like reaching out to catch every single fly that flies by its head. It would expend way too much energy to do that, and it would scare away all of the other flies. It can only expend the energy to reach out to the slowest moving, the fattest, juiciest fly, because it has a higher likelihood of catching that fly to get the sustenance and nutrients it needs to catch the next one. A business owner is the same way. We have all these ideas flying around our head, and if we reach out to catch one, all of the other ones vanish, right? Because now we have this one that we're trying to do something with. And we might get like 30 to 80% the way through doing this one idea, and all of the ideas will come back, and we'll drop this one and we'll go for that one. Well, we never finished implementing this one. Mm-hmm. So then we never saw the results from this one, or we didn't catch one at all. We sat there and we saw all of the ideas, and analysis paralysis takes hold, and we do nothing. Mm-hmm. And those seem to be the two camps that business owners are in. And so I thought about it and was like, business owners are a lot like frogs, and the flies that buzz around their heads are a bunch of ideas. They're idea flies. I'm going to come in and I'm going to help them catch the ideas that stick, because I want us to expend our budget, expend our time, effort, energy, and resources in the things that are going to have the biggest impact in your business. Why would you do it any other way? So that's where Spin Frogs came from. I help them stop spinning their tires and start spinning their message so that they can have better impact.
I love it. I love it. Beautiful analogy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of fun. And for me, I just find frogs fascinating. I think they're fun. I know some people are like, frogs? I had a client once who actually told me, she's like, Terri, I love you, and I love working with you. I hate frogs. And I laughed and I was like, okay. She's like, I just want you to know. And I was like, I am okay with that. You cannot like frogs. I think they're cool. I think they're, especially the tree frogs, like, how do they stick to the bark like that? So cool.
Awesome. I love it. That's cool. I love how you bring up the point about business owners having all these ideas, and they might grab onto one before it's like fully implemented. They let go, and one thing I'm super huge on clarity and things like that. And I think a lot of business owners don't do that. But I think when it comes to marketing, it makes it even harder because it's completely out of their world, and they don't know what to be reaching for. I look at it like, I'm fighting boxing background. I think of like the fighter who gets like hit really hard. He starts seeing multiples of his opponent. He's like, I don't know what I should be swinging at.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know that business owners aren't good with clarity. I think some are. I think our biggest challenge in the small business, micro business community is we get too stuck in the day-to-day.
Yeah.
And when you get into your day-to-day and you're just kind of working through, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And so things become muddy. It becomes unclear. It becomes disjointed because we're in the day-to-day. And so the best thing a business owner could ever do is not just be clear on where you're trying to go, but also recognize when you can't see it anymore and know that that's time to hire somebody to do something because you're doing too much in the day-to-day that you're losing sight of your purpose, your mission, and your vision. There was a reason you got into business, and it wasn't just to own your own job. You got into business to do something bigger than that. And if you're doing the day-to-day, you're owning your own job. And we have to be able to pause long enough to recognize that we've lost that clarity. We've lost that vision. And to bring it back is to take something off of our plate and make it somebody else's responsibility.
Awesome. I agree. I heard something today. I was listening to another guy who owns an agency. And I was like, man, is this guy confused or what? Because his agency has this massive growth. And he was talking about like, yeah, we used to do this and this is how I used to get my clients. But now I'm not even taking on clients because I just have so much going on. I'm like, hire somebody. Like, you don't just stop getting clients.
Exactly. But a lot of business owners are that way. Admittedly, I even was. I'm 3 years into business. And I spent the first year wanting to own my own job. I didn't want team. I didn't want partners. I didn't want. And the reason was because I've been burned. I've been burned a lot in bad business relationships over the years that I didn't want somebody else's reputation to impact my ability or inability to serve my community the way that I envisioned being able to serve my community. But at the end of the day, shutting myself off to those opportunities actually impacted my ability to serve my community in the way that I want to serve it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So what I had to do was I had to deal with the hurt. I had to deal with it. I had to recognize that those painful situations happened. I had to ask myself, what did I learn from them? And I had to say, okay, well, if you've learned from them, then why wouldn't you open yourself up to future opportunities? The next person that comes in to help you doesn't have to have a percent ownership in your company. They can be an employee. They don't have to have communication or relationships with your clients. They don't even need to know who your clients are to help you do some of the things that you do. So you can keep some of those things close to the vest if that's what you need to release some of these things that need to get done so that you can keep moving forward. And once I started to deal with that and recognize that, I started to ask the questions of, well, okay, if I am going to bring somebody on, what would that look like? What would they do? How would they help me? How would I hold them accountable for things? How would I measure their results? Where are they going to work? I work out of my home office to help keep my costs down. And because most of the time when I'm talking with my clients, I'm doing it either via Zoom or I'm in their office. So I never really felt the need to have an office space. The added expense just didn't make any sense. So where are they going to work? And I started asking all of these operations questions and system questions that I hadn't asked before. And so I spent a year in this, how am I going to do this phase? And I spent a year with interns testing different ideas and theories about how I was going to make things work. And before I knew it, I realized I had given up a lot of the day-to-day stuff that I don't need to do anymore. And I was trusting people to do it for me. And it was still getting done. And it was getting done in the way that I wanted it done. And so now I'm able to bring on more people and go through that same process. Now I know what process it looks like to onboard a new team member to make sure they're ready to take on a project. And I know what speed at which I can start giving them things to do, so that way I'm not overwhelming them and bombarding them with stuff. They can handle it and it's getting done the way that I want to, right? So that year of time of dealing with that pain and that hurt and figuring out those systems and those processes was necessary. I needed to stop taking clients at that point, so that way I could work on the business and not just in the business. I needed to handle the clients that I had so that they could be happy. And then once things started to stabilize out, COVID hit. And instead of having a backlog of people who were interested in working with me, because I hadn't been doing a sales process for a year, I had nothing. I lost 80% of my client base because of COVID. And I had no sales funnel. And so then it came into a new problem, right? The new problem is, well, how am I going to generate a sales funnel for myself, so that way I can hire a team back, so that way we can keep doing the work, the vision. I can keep doing the mission and the vision of the work that I want to do. How am I going to do that? And so that became the question of, how am I going to do that? And the answer was, hey, well, you lost 80% of your clients. Guess what you got now?
Got some time.
Time. You got time. What are you going to do with that extra time now that you don't need to travel for meetings and you only have a couple of clients that you need to spend some time working on? Okay, so you got 3 whole days a week. What are you going to do with all that time? And I was like, I guess I'm going to do my own marketing and start working on my own marketing strategy, you know, like what I do for everybody else. And it really has produced some amazing results. It's really helped me to continue to grow the business and move forward. We're thankfully very busy now. I am getting ready to hire on another person because my person's about at capacity for the time that she has. So it's all the right problem to have. I was able to think fast enough to pivot, but we have to have a vision. We have to know where we're trying to go so that we can make that pivot happen.
Awesome. I love it. I love that you brought up the COVID situation, and I don't think you're the only one that lost a bunch of business during this time. I heard about a lot of people losing a ton of business, and this is the point where I looked at it, and my business partner, we just made another pretty significant investment today, but he was over last night. We were talking, and he was like, I don't know if it makes sense to do that because we got riots and COVID and all this noise going on. I was like, shouldn't it make more sense for us to do this after all that noise clears? I was like, no, because we're going to be the only people still making noise with them. I was like, let's just cap while everybody else is backing off. Let's just push in. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask you, what's your take on that with business owners in this situation? Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, we took a hit financially, and I don't know if I should be spending money on advertising and all these other things and bringing people in. What's your take? How do you think people should be responding right now?
So I always look back to the 2008 financial crisis. That's a question a lot of people are asking right now. And new business owners were not business owners in 2008 and 2009. I certainly wasn't. I wasn't a business owner then. I was just a marketing director, okay? I was fresh out of school. You know, I was fresh out of school learning how to deal with budgets and how to do this stuff when the 2008, 2009 financial crisis hit, okay? What I know, though, is the businesses that doubled down, that invested in themselves, that invested in their team, that invested in their marketing, that invested in their community, those businesses won. They won market share, they grew, they were stable, they were successful, and they stood out in comparison to the businesses who buried themselves, their head in the sand, in despair because they didn't know what to do. The businesses that doubled down because they were afraid. They didn't double down because they knew it was going to work. They doubled down because they were scared as shit. And they knew that they had no choice. It's double down or die. That's really what happens. Double down or die is your choice. And you have to double down wisely. You don't just randomly pick different things. You have to be very strategic and very smart with your investment of your time, your effort, your energy, and your resources when you have very little resources. And those business owners that won in 2008 and 2009 were very smart. They were very strategic with the work they were doing in terms of their marketing and their community outreach. And they were very creative. They took the time to think outside the box for how can we serve our community and still make a living? How can we be a support system and still make a living? And I think that's an important question to ask. And those businesses that figured out the answers then are the ones that can look back at that and say, hey, I survived that, I'll survive this, right? Yeah. And they've learned from it. And the ones who didn't survive that, they started new businesses. They learned from it too. And they learned that just being in despair, listening to the negativity, the fear, and letting that sink in does not help them. That's what they learned. And those businesses are the ones that are doubling down this time around. They're the ones that are thriving this time around because they said, I know what I need to do because I didn't do it last time. I'm going to learn from what I messed up last time, and I'm going to make a change. And that change is going to have a positive impact for my business. And those are the businesses that, just like you said, and your business partner said, are you sure with all the stuff going on right now, we want to do X, Y, and Z? Your answer being yes. Yes, that's the right answer. You do want to. Do you want to add to the noise? No, but you do want to be ever present because it's the ones that are ever present that are going to win.
Yeah. And I love it. I remember another conversation we had as the COVID stuff was really just starting. He was like, do we really want to spend ads right now for this? Because I don't know how many people are going to be trying to buy marketing services right now, this and that. It's like, I don't know either. I know it's super important that they do it, but I was like, at the very least, we took a pie. I like to just call it throwaway money. And it's not like we just had this tons of money and just piles that weren't allocated to anything, but we just took a chunk of money. I was like, let's throw it all into just promoting our brand. No call to actions, nothing but just omnipresence. And let's just get in front of as many people as possible. So that way we stay relevant, we grew.
Yeah. And you know, businesses launched during this COVID thing. New businesses started up. Were businesses failing? Yes. Is that sad? Absolutely. It's heartbreaking. The fear, the despair, the destruction that has happened. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And for those that have gone through that and are not surviving right now, my heart really does go out to them. But what we have to know is there will be another side to this. We will come out of this. This too shall pass. And it is up to us to decide what that passing looks like. Is that passing going to be positive, or is that passing going to have a lasting negative impact on our lives, on our communities, and on our families? I don't know about you, but I would much rather have a positive outcome than a negative one. So I got busy. I mean, I took that extra time that I had and I figured out, how can I be a resource? You mentioned being omnipresent. How can I be accessible? How can I be available? How can I be helpful to these people? What is something other agencies aren't doing? Can I do that? And I started looking at what are other agencies not doing? And I started doing that. And that has allowed me to stand out because I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just finding the holes and I'm plugging them. And because I'm there plugging the holes, it's being seen and it's being felt. And that is what's caused that ripple effect to come back and serve me. I have served others, so now it's coming back to serve me. And that's what it's all about. It's the circle of life. It always comes back around.
It does. Awesome. There's so many things I want to pull, but because of time, I just have to move forward. So let's jump into the next part of
We're just going to have another conversation is all that means, right?
Hey, I'm always up to it. Let's jump into the game. We call it Elite Instincts. And Terry, basically the way this game works is I'm going to throw a word out your way. You have to respond back with the first word, ideally one word, that comes to mind after hearing it. All right?
Okay, no pressure or anything, though.
All right. Here we go. First one, marketing.
Necessary.
Small.
Large.
Success.
Path.
Organic.
Natural.
Advertising.
Promotion.
Platform.
Tool.
Research.
Critical.
Skills.
Teachable.
Website.
Ooh. Yeah. Website. That is required.
SEO.
Also required.
Inspiration.
Daily.
Spin frogs.
First word that comes to mind for spin frogs. Inspired.
Wow. There you are. And I'm pretty sure everyone can feel the inspiration from the chief idea catcher herself. And Terry, I appreciate you being on the show. I got nothing else other than to just open up the floor to you and just let everybody know what you have going on. What should they be looking out for? Where can they find you? The floor is all yours.
Awesome. This has been so much fun. I want to thank you again for having me on the show. It's been a great conversation. You asked some awesome open-ended questions. So thank you very much for that. And I hope that your listeners got some value out of the conversation today. I know it was an honor and a pleasure to share that story with you and your listeners. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So something to look out for, please feel free to visit spinfrogs.com. That site is ever changing. I change it like once a week at least. I'm in there doing something with it, messing around. I've got a free master class coming up for search engine optimization on June the 10th. It's at 7 p.m. So for those of you who are thinking about a side hustle to a regular job, or for those of you who are business owners that are working your 9 to 5 and you just don't have time during the day to get some continuing education in or to answer some of those tricky search engine optimization questions, we have it at 7 p.m. So hopefully your day will be done and you'll be able to join us for a Zoom conversation. You'll want to go to Eventbrite and search for Search Engine Optimization Masterclass or SEO Masterclass. Or you can find it on my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/spinfrogsmarketing, and the link to register for the event is there. You do have to register through Eventbrite to get the Zoom link, and that'll be available a couple of days before the event. So you'll get the Zoom link on that Monday. But June the 10th at 7 p.m. for that conversation. And the other really cool thing that I have going on is my DIY to search engine optimization. So if you're a small business owner who is bootstrapping your marketing, you are in a position where you find extra time on your hands and you are trying to figure out how you're going to swim up this stream that is now our new normal in life and get found on Google. You want to take this class. It is a step-by-step tutorial. It's 10 hours of recorded video content. It is evergreen, which means you will always have access. We're not going to shut your access off. We're not going to stop your access after a certain number of days. You can access it forever once you make your payment. It's a one-time payment to get you access. And right now it's on sale for $79. It's 10 hours of content broken up into 30 to 15 or 15 to 30 minute segments. Said that backwards. And we also provide a mastermind group. So everybody who is enrolled in the course gets access to everybody who's enrolled in the course to help each other be that resource, get that feedback. It is your test market. So you made a change to your website and you want to know if your audience is going to like it. Reach out to our group, our mastermind group, and say, what do you think of the changes I made? They will give you the feedback that you need so that you can keep moving the needle forward in your business and keep creating visibility and credibility with Google. The more visible and credible you are with Google, the more profitable you are in your business. And that's the key. So that course is going to be available right now for that $79. And that's going to go up because it's valued at $350 retail. And I'm selling it at $79 right now because I want to help our small business community and help those people who are making the pivot. So you can access that through the website as well, spinfrogs.com. And up in the top navigation bar of SpinFrogs, you will see trainings. If you click the down arrow on trainings, you will see the DIY to SEO course right there. So you click on that and it will tell you all about the benefits and how the course is broken up and what you're going to get from it. And it'll give you the registration button right there, all on the site. So that's the kind of the best things that I have going on right now. Of course, I encourage everybody to reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's Terri Watkins, and through Facebook or Instagram at SpinFrogs. I also have a YouTube channel out there that has 100 videos on it. That is all just free content. Learn about marketing. It's all out there for you to learn and absorb and connect with what we've got going on. Please don't judge me. Some of those videos are pretty terrible. The content's good. Video is not so much, and that's because we all have to start where we are, and some of that content was recorded when I first started. So bear with it. The content, the quality of the content's still good, but some of the video imaging is like, what was she thinking? But we all learn as we grow. And then the last thing for free information, if you want to plug into it, I launched a podcast. So during COVID, one of the things I got busy with was a podcast that I launched. And if you go to Spotify or Google Play or Anchor.fm, you can search for Terrific Tips for Business. Don't let that terminology fool you. It's just terrific with Terri being accentuated. So it's Terrific Tips, the number 4, business. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you there.
Awesome. And make sure we got some links. I'm going to put everything down in the description. If I can actually put some pop-up boxes on here, I might even do that. Just that way it makes it easy for you guys. Make sure you check out Terri's masterclass and her programs and listen to the podcast. It's super cool. I may or may not be featured on there, so who knows, but Terri has a ton of value that she wants to bring to you, and she's here to help the small business owners. She first told me the course was going for $79. I'm like, man, I'm sure it's just a $7,900 because they could easily make that back after going to the course. So I'll make sure everything has links. Make sure you find Terri, follow her, subscribe to all of her channels, continue to reach out to her and to learn from her. But other than that, we will see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you again. I so appreciate being here, and I look forward to connecting with everybody.